All right, hi everyone, welcome. All 99 of you, we'll probably break 100 here in a second, to the January mandatory coaches meeting for Indiana Esports Network. So, like I mentioned, Nick is going to continually drop that agenda link in the chat, so make sure that you click on that and sign in for attendance so that we know exactly who was here and we don't have to make you watch the Ed puzzle to record your attendance. Um, like I said, we're going to try to be done at 8:45. If you could keep your mics muted, that would be great. If you have questions, go ahead and put it in chat, and we'll follow up at the end of the meeting. We just want to make sure that we keep the bulk of the meeting nice and tight for the recording. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you're here, you know who we are at Indiana Esports Network. Just a reminder that we're 100% volunteer-driven, educator-led, free-to-students organization. Over 100 schools. It's a little bit hard to tell. We're probably about 130 schools at the moment that are competing in Indiana Esports Network. The board of directors has changed a little bit. So if you're new, the idea of a board of directors is a little bit new to us. We've been operating under this model for a little bit, but we have kind of a collaborative leadership team. Um, Recently, Ben Underwood and Nathan Stahl stepped down from the board of directors for personal reasons to run their own programs, or in Ben's case, moving out of education. But these are the current board. We just today onboarded 3 new board members: Carlos, Chris, and Trevor, who I believe are all in this meeting, and their pictures are there on your screen. So now when you ping us, there are 6 of us that can get back to you for help. Just keep in mind that all of us are volunteer, and we're doing our best, but we're also running our own programs and doing things too. So our response times are pretty good. Just try to show a little bit of grace, especially in the middle of matches, and we're doing our best to try to serve you and serve the students of Indiana. Um, so if you have suggestions or things that are going wrong, things that you want to see improved, go ahead and ping one of us, ping the board of directors role on Discord, reach out to us via email. You can email ienboard@isen.info, and it will go to all of us as well. So feel free to communicate as often as possible if you have need. The Competition Council is an organizational structure that hasn't quite functioned the way we expected. Um, the goal was that it would be a group of individuals who were actively engaged in kind of the competition side of Indiana Esports Network. Um, we struggle with some bandwidth at times to make that really what it was originally designed to be. So we're kind of hitting the pause button on the Competition Council, and we're going to reinvent that for the next school year. Kind of reimagine not just what the group could be, but what it functionally will be. So more info on that later. But we're currently operating without a competition council for the rest of this school year because we want to make sure that it means something when we do bring it back. If you're interested in leadership, be sure to reach out and volunteer for different things, though. And the next few slides will have some opportunities for that as well. Something new that we're instituting and we've talked about for a while but never really took off is the idea of mentors. So these 10 coaches on your screen, who most of them at least are probably in this meeting, volunteered to serve as mentors. That doesn't mean they know everything, but it means they've been around the block a few times and they have some experience to share. If you are a new school, and we have a list of you, you can expect one of these mentors to be reaching out and volunteering to help kind of walk you through some of what it means to be an esports coach in IEN. It's not a formal number of meetings or anything like that. It's just an opportunity for you to have one person to reach out to helpfully answer your questions. So if you're worried about how something works, if you're afraid you screwed something up, if you've never thought about a certain aspect of what it means to compete and all of a sudden you need an answer, reach out to your mentor and they can help you. And if not, they know how to get a hold of us in a quick way and we can, through them or individually, answer those questions as well. If more of you are interested in being mentors still, by all means, reach out to us on the board and we can add your name to the list because there may be other schools who would like to be in a mentor relationship and have that opportunity. So we may expand this program throughout the year, but it will definitely keep growing. Our goal is to definitely assign all new schools a mentor, but also maybe second year schools or anyone else who still feels they need it, a mentor as well if we have capacity. So thank you to all 10 of these coaches for being willing to share their expertise and their time with you. And again, if you're a new coach, be on the lookout for contact either via Discord or email from one of these mentors who has volunteered to be assigned to you. Another new thing we're looking at doing, and I believe we mentioned this at the last coaches meeting, is the idea of game managers. So in the past, we had what we called title runners for different games. What we're really talking about is someone to help run and manage game day activities for different titles. For some titles, it's way more important than others. Drew, Rhoda is here. Drew is our iRacing expert. That's really important because I don't know about the new guys, but at least none of us older guys knew anything about iRacing. Drew is the expert. He's the one that manages that title completely with our support. So we're broadening that model to include other titles as well. Ryan Dunfee from Speedway is kind of taking over the game manager role for chess and Tetris from Nathan, who kind of did that last season. Carlos is running high school Fortnite in partnership with Purdue University Northwest. So Purdue is running the lobby in support with Carlos being the one that communicates with you all. That model worked pretty well, and what we're doing is also translating that to middle school. So Vince Tulowitzki at Anderson Prep is kind of our game manager for middle school Fortnite. He'll be the one communicating with you middle school coaches, and Indiana Wesleyan University is our collegiate partner for running those lobbies. So we're looking at doing the sort of thing for our other game titles as well. If you have expertise in a specific game title and are interested in being that game manager, reach out to us and talk about what that might mean. The goal for this spring is to kind of walk through that together with you and show you what it means to be that title runner or that game manager in the hopes that next school year you might be able to take the reins and run with it. So if you're interested in that, if you think of collegiate partners that might be interested as well, send them our way. We think this model can work really well to help support you all and help give you a better game day experience, since all of us on the board are tugged at least 17 different ways on any given game day. So we're excited to be able to offer these as well. Next up, an announcement. I see Marty on my screen, which is good. So Marty, if you want to go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself. So LeagueOS is our competition platform, as all of you are aware, and there's a new opportunity from LeagueOS that is exciting, but does require a little bit from us. So Marty's going to explain what that is and how it impacts us and our students.
All right, thank you. Great to see you all. Marty from LeagueOS. As you know, the IEN is run on LeagueOS, and I want to mention off the top, we did some really fun Winter Champions Invitationals last month at the end of the calendar year, taking the state champions across 2 different titles, Rocket League and Valorant, from multiple states on LeagueOS, and allowing those states to play against each other, allow those champions to play against each other. And I just want to give a shout out to Carmel for winning the Valorant Champion of Champions competition, our Winter Champions Invitational. So really an honor to be here. And I also want to say that my first introduction to IEN, when I attended my first NACAD event in March of 2022, one of your original founders was giving a talk on recruiting, and really wanted to dive into how recruiting was being handled in the very early days, and it's still early days. But what we recognized at LeagueOS was a unique opportunity as the emerging system of record for a growing number of high school esports programs, including IEN. You're one of a dozen that we're running across the country. But also, we added the NECC on the collegiate side last summer, the BEC, which is all the Big Ten schools. And so we have a strong position on the collegiate side as well. And right now, as we speak, this week, the National Junior College Athletic Association esports program is moving onto LeagueOS as well. So now we have all the 2-year schools coming into LeagueOS. And the recruiting situation in scholastic esports and finding opportunities for kids in college is still early days and not that well figured out. So we're here to figure it out. Am I able to share my screen, Joseph?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I can stop, and you can go ahead and share your screen.
All right, I'm just going to jump in with a couple things that'll help me explain what's going on here. If I start the slideshow. So we are calling this LOS College Portal. This is our recruiting offering that aims to connect the worlds of scholastic esports and all the players looking for opportunities to play at the next level. And not just play at the next level, but all the other opportunities to cast and do social media and all those things with those opportunities at the collegiate level. From the system of record for esports in schools, the ultimate esports recruiting portal offering increased transparency and quality connections between student gamers and recruiters. Free search of 600 plus verified collegiate esports programs. We've got the NECC, we've got the Big Ten schools, we've got the SEC schools, and now the NJCAA esports program. It's all the 2-year schools. So that's over 600 college programs with LeagueOS profiles, because they're playing on LeagueOS, that can now be searchable in this portal. But importantly, prospect search of prospects, players who want to play at the next level, is exclusive to verified and background checked college recruiters. That's something we've been very, very careful about and very thoughtful about. Prospect benefits: complete your prospect profile, searchable by verified college recruiters. Discover which colleges offer esports programs. Research your favorite programs and requirements, including games, leagues they play in, rank, GPA requirements, scholarships. I'm seeing some questions come in. I don't know if that's for me. I'll take a look.
We'll tell you which ones there are at the end. Yeah, we'll separate them out for you.
Got it. Contact the schools you're most interested in. Safely engage in qualified recruitment conversations on platform. That's important. So much of recruiting conversations are now happening in DMs and not within view of people who should have view of those things. So we are designing this system to have on-platform conversations that are safe. Auto-generate your collegiate letter of intent. Showcase your commitment with your college's official logo on your LeagueOS profile. These are just a handful of the benefits that we're working on. And here's how it's going to work with the IEN. Yes, I can share this out. And then I'm also going to provide a link to where you can take a look at the portal as well. But this is what we're turning on with IEN. As all of the players, as everybody, including coaches and admins, log in starting tonight, I believe. But I'll confirm that, but I'll turn it on as soon as you guys are ready. As you log in, you're presented with this prompt, a graduation year prompt. Big news: this league gives you access to LOS College Portal, a new way for students to connect with verified college coaches and recruiters and explore opportunities to grow in esports. Please enter and verify your high school graduation year. Current students will get a link to check out their new prospect profile and manage how they appear. So any students who put in a graduation year that is currently in high school will get this next screen. If you put in like your own graduate, if you're a coach and you put in another graduation year, you're not going to get the same invitation. You're going to get a notice that, hey, you can still play a role. But if you put in a graduation year that makes you a high schooler, your new prospect profile awaits. Customize and manage your profile to attract verified coaches and recruiters, and then a link to go check it out. That will take them to a profile that we are auto-generating, and I'm going to do a switch of what I'm sharing here really quickly. Okay, so this is an example of a player profile that the players will link to. This is the overview. Notice that the overview is bringing in recent match results and upcoming matches for that player from the IEN. This is where they will link to coming from that prompt. You'll see that there is a profile already created with information that we know, what games they play, what leagues they're in. And we are requesting that they set a status. Looking for team. Are they open to college esports opportunities and communication? Are they already committed? If they've already secured a college spot and they want to showcase their destination, they can select that. Or if they're not seeking, no direct contact, but open to initiating conversations. And then there is a way to opt out of this entirely. Okay, so we are auto-generating these profiles with no identifiable information. Notice that it also includes the grad year and the region, but there's the opportunity to customize. I'll come up here. and show a more customized profile with other interests, including if you're interested in not just playing, but maybe broadcasting, casting, social media. You can create a bio for yourself. You can indicate your GPA. Super important for a lot of colleges. As we talk to the college coaches, if they put in their GPA, now that's a really high GPA in this mock-up, but super important, as a lot of schools, need to know that you meet the minimum GPA. You can put in what areas you're interested in, what degree programs you're interested in, all those sorts of things. All this is easily editable from a dashboard when they go through to that profile. Again, they can opt out of this entirely, but they have the ability to fill all this out. And if they are interested in opportunities, it's very important that they select this looking for team, okay? Now, if they're looking for team, they will be invited to add a parent or guardian email so that the guardian can have access to any conversations that follow. In situations where the guardian may be difficult to get attached, but a student is really interested in that, we are going to be creating opportunities for the coaches to help with permitting that type of conversation. Again, all conversations happen on platform, so it's all accessible and open. And all recruiters are background checked by us. No matter what is happening at the college level, we can't know for sure what's happening at the college level when recruiters and people in these sports programs are hired. So we are doing another background check on everybody that has search access, and we're verifying 100% that they are who they say they are. Okay, I'm going to go back to my slides really quick. I'm going to fly through this. All right, so again, it's important to let your students know what this is about when they see these prompts. These are the colleges so far that have gotten full access to begin searching in the college portal. This is Coe College in Iowa, Concordia in Nebraska, Dickinson State in North Dakota, Minot State in North Dakota. This is St. Ambrose University in Southwest Iowa. And just this week, we got Syracuse University, which is a huge one, a big D1 school, has come in, and they, of course, can recruit from all across the country. We have not yet begun to talk to the colleges in Indiana, but if you guys have any contacts with colleges in Indiana that you think would want to be on this system, in the system, and able to look up all of the players that are in your program, please don't hesitate to reach out. The portal, if you want to go check it out and see what our landing page experience looks like, it's at portal.leagueos.gg. Again, we were uniquely positioned to create this solution with all of that competition happening on our platform across the collegiate space and the high school space, and all of these schools already created in our system, and all of the players already in our system. So we're just creating an easy, safe way to connect all those people. Also really interested in students filling out their interest beyond just playing, because there's so many scholarships available for casters, for social media, for admin roles at the college level. So if you weren't familiar with that, that's absolutely the case. And here's my contact information, marty@leagueos.gg, if you don't already have it. Very open to certainly any questions right now, but also follow-up correspondence with me. All right, I hope I kept that to time. Anybody want?
I think you're good.
Want me to field questions now? Or
Nick, Chris, anything in chat that we missed for Marty? Trevor, Carlos? Sorry, forgot you guys.
Nope. For Marty, just asking if they can have a copy of the slideshow.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll send a link.
Oh, Dylan's here too. Sorry, Dylan.
What's up, Dylan? Dylan's a college guy.
Marty, if you get me that, I can share it out.
Great. And yes, just one more time, the grad year is critical. Yes, Dylan's got to pay me to get on here, that's for sure. The grad year is critical. It just really sets everybody, where they're at in the progression. There is still time for class of 24 kids to get in on this and find opportunities. So encourage your seniors, especially encourage your juniors. And then the GPA, and the degrees of interest. Also, I'm just hearing it from the colleges that I'm talking to. That's really huge. And know that for kids that are maybe interested in 2-year schools, we're going to have searchable 2-year schools on here as well as the NJCAA comes in. So excited to share this with you guys, and a lot more fun Scholastic Champs coming up, competitions coming up. We have a Rocket League tournament, looking for 32 Rocket League teams from all of our states playing later this month in January, a really cool format. We've got Valorant, Smash Brothers, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned for more Scholastic Champs opportunities. All of that supplemental and additive to what you guys are doing in the IEN. We always work around your schedule, but a chance for your teams to play more, as Carmel did, winning our Winter Champions Invitational in Valorant. Congratulations again.
All right, thanks, Marty. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're excited to be able to offer this to students as always. And for coaches, really, your job now is to explain, right, why this graduation year popped up and what it means for kids and their ability to be able to opt into this or opt out, how to search for colleges, and the importance of beginning this process early. So if you have questions, reach out to one of us, and we can, if not answer them, relay them on to Marty and his team, and get answers back to you. So I think, Carlos, you had something.
Yeah, it was a question for Marty.
Yeah.
Today, when I was registering my teams for the Rocket League, that actually popped up for me to put in my graduation year.
Yeah.
For as a coach, and so our coaches supposed to be putting in their graduation year. So I put in 2010. That's when I graduated high school, and I was so confused by it. So is there a way for like coaches not to get that prompt when we're on LeagueOS?
Good question. I'm glad you asked it. We are showing it to everybody, and it is a requirement. So you have to fill something in. It's going to be helpful for the league in general because you guys will have access to that information and kind of know if you've got years that are particularly heavy or light on students. For the coaches, you should have received after you filled in your year, you should have received a prompt saying, looks like you're not a player or something like that, right? There will be ways for you to support the students in looking for future opportunities. So we try to handle that with a message if that came through. And it's just at the moment we're not able to, we haven't turned on any sort of distinguishing between coach roles and player roles. We're just showing it to everybody right now. That was the easiest way to get this done quickly. But be honest, give us your graduation year, and we won't hold it against you. But we just won't show you a link to your prospect profile because you're not recruitable in the same way. Maybe you have eligibility. Let us know if you do.
All right, thanks, Marty. We'll let you know if we have questions, and I'll share that presentation out when you get it to me.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Oh, my screen is freaking out. So, bylaws and general rules, these are the same as they were before. No really big updates. There were some small updates here and there to some things that have been posted on Discord already. For instance, Overwatch, those rules have been revamped just a little bit in that we created a rule set code, so you no longer have to ensure that you put all the settings correct. If you used a code in the one-pager, then you can do that. I should share my screen. I'm sharing my screen on the recording. There we go. So if you need help putting that rules code in, there are some instructions in the one-pager, or let us know and we can help with that. But it should make the process of Overwatch 2 lobbies a lot smoother and less remakes for forgetting some rules. Other than that, there aren't any big changes. The Valorant rule changes were just posted as well, so make sure that you understand that the map pool is the competitive map pool. Those were posted in the rules and resources, so make sure you understand that. And the Outlaw, the new weapon, is available for competition as well. Other than that, there might have been some small tweaks, but no big rule changes. Just go ahead and just look at the one-pagers if necessary, but you shouldn't see anything in particular. These are those one-pagers. Again, if you're new, these are linked in the onboarding email we sent. They are also linked in the general rules document, and they are on LeagueOS as a rule book. So on the competition page or on the match page, you'll be able to see a little button towards the bottom that says rule book. It will also load the one-page summary for you to be able to follow along as well. So now we'll get into LeagueOS itself and cover a few things that we need to actually go over before spring split. So let me change gears here a little bit. You all should have access to LeagueOS. If you do not, it was in your onboarding email, or make sure you let us know so that we can get that taken care of. Big important things are that the registration deadline is this Friday, January 12th at 11:59 p.m. Central Time is fine. Actually, I think it's Eastern Time. It is Eastern Time based on my LeagueOS profile. So 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time is the deadline. That is a hard deadline, unfortunately, because as I'm sure you're all aware, competitions start next Monday, which is very little time for us all to go through and generate all of those matches and get them done. So the new board members might not know it yet, but hopefully they're going to join us on Saturday morning and get all those matches generated nice and quickly for you all, so you can see your schedules and have it all set before next week rolls around. But again, that does mean we do have to have a hard deadline cutoff. Now, what I will say, and we've talked to some of you newer schools about this, if you're a club school and not sure if you're going to be able to compete or not, register for club. That's fine. There's no harm done in registering for club if you don't compete. That is not true for varsity or academy. If you register for varsity or academy, on Saturday we are generating you a schedule, which means if you don't play, you're forfeiting 6 matches. That's going to be a problem for the schools that you're playing and also will relegate you down a division next year. So if you're not sure if you're going to have a team or not, you can register for club. That's fine. But do not register for varsity or academy unless you're sure that you're going to compete. There are a few schools that we have to discuss relegation with from last semester. There were some that forfeited more than those 2 matches that we are allowing. So we are enforcing that rule. Make sure you understand that you need to be competing and finishing the matches that you have. Hopefully that makes sense. The difference between varsity, academy, and club, we talked a little bit about that. Club matches are not free-scheduled. So the club matches will use a check-in system, which we'll show you how to use in a minute. Basically, if your kids are there and ready to play on that given day for competition, you activate that team on LeagueOS, and you will have a match generated and ready to go. If you're not ready to play, then do not activate, and you won't have a match generated. It's really that simple. Varsity and academy are entirely pre-scheduled. So make sure that you know that you're competing in those leagues and matches. You're allowed to have 1 varsity team, 1 academy team, but as many club teams as you would like. Middle school does not have academy. Middle school just has varsity and club, but the same thing. You can have 1 varsity team and as many club teams as you would like. Middle school varsity is pre-scheduled. Middle school club is not. It is that check-in system analogous to high school club. You must complete in the spring split to qualify for playoffs and the championships. So what that means, it really only applies to the high school level, since middle schools are distinct seasons. At the high school level, if you are not competing in spring, you will not be a part of playoffs, and you will not be eligible to then go to the state finals. If you compete in spring but did not compete in fall, that's fine. You will still be eligible for playoffs. You just will not have accrued points over fall that will carry over like all the other schools have. So as long as you are competing at the varsity level in spring high school, you are eligible for playoffs after the season per the calendar. Playoffs are only for varsity level, and they are only for team titles. So tournament titles, I see some chat questions about this as well. Tetris, chess, Fortnite, and iRacing are our tournament titles. They are not divisioned based on school size. They are not classified based on varsity, academy, or club. Everyone competes together. And there are not playoffs for those. We will just have 2 extra weeks of competition at the high school level to increase those standings. At the middle school level, they end at the normal 6 weeks like everything else. Hopefully that addresses that question about playoffs and club. I mentioned in-person state championships. The in-person state championships will be held at Ball State University again. We partnered with Ball State last year as a venue. It went really well, and we're looking to improve. You probably all heard us say this by now, but put April 27th on the calendar. Even if you're not competing in finals, it'll be a great day for you to be there. We'll have professional development sessions for you as coaches and for students as well. We'll have internship opportunities for your students to partner with Ball State's production program for broadcasting the matches. We'll be running 4 simultaneous streams throughout the day to make sure all the matches are broadcast out. There'll be opportunities for your players to get coaching from some of the Ball State players. There'll be a collegiate fair as well. colleges across the state and probably from some surrounding states will have tables and be able to talk to your students about what it would look like to go to their institution for esports. They'll be able to watch and support the other players, and lots of swag and some other things as well. Last year, McDonald's sent Grimace, and it was a grand party. So there'll be lots of opportunities there. Also, in particular, if you're a new school, maybe one that has administrators that don't quite understand why you're involved in esports, this is the day to invite them so they can see what it's like when 300 kids are there cheering and competing in front of colleges and streams. So keep that in mind. That'll be definitely an opportunity for you all as well. Some basics on LeagueOS. Oh, I'm sorry. Unified will also compete. So at the state finals, we're talking about the middle school varsity championship, the high school varsity championships for those team titles, and the unified championship for Unified Smash Brothers. All of those final matches will take place at Ball State on the 27th. So let's talk about LeagueOS and make sure everyone's good to go. So one of the first things you need to make sure that you have done is your teams created within your school. Let's pick on Anderson here since they're alphabetically first. If you go to your school page and look at teams, you'll just want to make sure you have teams created for everything that you need teams created for in terms of rosters to compete. It's nice if you have your school name in the title. It's mostly nice for us on the back end because there are a few screens that show us your team name without showing your school name. If not, it's not the end of the world. We can figure it out. After you have your teams created, you want to go to competitions on the left-hand side. And Marty's still here, so I'll give a little dig at him. Every now and then there's a bug that they're working on vehemently, I'm told, where you'll only see 4 competitions here. So what you'll need to do is click on our little logo in the top left to reload to the home page, and then navigate back to the competition page, and they should all be there. So I know they're working on that, but if you see that, that's what you need to do to get past that bug. Every time is reasonable as well. There we go.
Noted. Yes. We're looking at it.
There we go. So once you get your competition page loaded up, you'll be able to enter one of the competitions you want to register for. For instance, High School Club Valorant. On the right-hand side, you should see a View Registration button if you are already registered, which could have been in fall or could have been in spring. And you should see a Register Your Team button. All you need to do to register your team is click Register, and from the drop-down menu, select the team that you want. If you do not see a team here, it is for one of 2 reasons. Either 1, you did not choose the correct activity for that team, or 2, you did not assign, it's not assigned the correct division. Either way, we can help you, but the way to check that is to go into a school team. For instance, if we look at Anderson's team again, go into your settings and make sure, 1, the team activity is set correctly. If you don't see your Rocket League team, for instance, make sure you go there and this says Rocket League. And then 2, make sure you have a team division set if you're trying to register for varsity and do not see that. If you're trying to register for club, you should be good to go, no problems. Once you do that, you get put into a pending state, and then one of the board of directors will go in and confirm those teams periodically. I've been doing it every hour or 2 recently during the day. So if you think you did it and you do not, you're not quite sure, give it a little bit once we confirm pending teams to check, and this is important for all of you. If you go into a competition, whichever one you registered for, and click the Rosters tab at the top, this will show you all the competition rosters who are successfully registered for that competition. If you see your school name here and the roster under this competition, you're good to go and correctly registered. If you do not, there is something missing, and you need to make sure you register by 11:59 Eastern on January 12th. Let me go through and make sure. Roster creations and additions. So to add to your roster, let me go ahead and find my school. What you need to do is navigate to the team and go to the Members tab. On the Members tab, you can hit the Add button on the top and add players who are already on your school roster. If you need to invite someone who has not created a LeagueOS account yet, the Invite button at the top will do that. Click the invite, and you notice in this window it says Invite Friends to whatever roster you are on. This will invite them to LeagueOS, to your school, and to the team all at once. So you can activate this link, share that with students, and they will be on that team. That's the easiest way to add students to your roster. This does not need to be done by Friday. The things that need to be done by Friday at 11:59 are your submitted charter. And if you're not sure what that means, you should let us know, because you should all have a submitted charter if you've had an onboarding with us. And you need to make sure that you have created your school and registered your teams, like I walked through. What we would like, and you should strive for, is having your roster done by the day of your first match. So we're looking at my Overwatch roster here. By next Tuesday, my roster should be good and ready to go. At the varsity level, that's a necessity. At the academy and club level, it's a strong desire, let's say. We can be slightly flexible in helping you get that done. But at the varsity level, we need your roster set by the time of the first match. You do not need to re-charter. You just need to make sure you have a charter submitted since fall. Checking in for club. So if you're a club school, what you're gonna, or just a school competing in club, there's a little bit you have to do. Once you are in the stage, you can go to rosters. I should choose one that I have a team in. That would be helpful. And if I go to rosters here in the competition, I'll see my competition roster. And if I hit the gear, it'll load into this roster screen. What you'll need to do, for instance, this is Overwatch. So club check-in will open for middle school at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and I'm sorry, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and at high school for at 4 p.m. Eastern. Anytime after those times, you can come in here and click the Activate Team button on your roster. Once this is done loading, it will turn and say Deactivate Team. If it says Deactivate Team, that means you're already activated, and you're checked in for that match. Once you're checked in, when the queue window is over, which for middle school is at 4:25 Eastern, and for high school at 4:55 Eastern, we will then go in and generate matches for all the schools that have checked in. If you have not checked in, you will not receive a match. So be sure that you understand this process for checking in for club. This is also the same process that your students will follow for checking in for Tetris. If you are a Tetris coach and you need to look in a little more detail, let us know. Ask in Tetris chat and we will help you. You as a coach will check in all your teams for club level competitions, but your students individually will check in for Tetris. It's a very similar process. The difference is over here on this window, your student will come over to their individual profile and say playing. That will show that they individually are playing, and when you hit save, you'll see a check mark here next to their name. This is only important for Tetris, but if you do have a Tetris team, make sure you understand that, and if you don't, please ask. That's checking in for club level competitions. So, after you've checked in for club and matches are generated, or in the case of you being a varsity or academy team, your schedules will be generated this weekend. I'll show you falls since we don't have springs done yet. Once you enter the competition by clicking view and enter the stage, there will be one here that says spring. You can then see the schedule. You can sort by round. There will be 6 rounds visible for varsity or academy. At the club level, there will only be as many rounds as we've had weeks. So if we're in week 4 and I want to see the week 4 schedule, you will then see all these matches generated. You could also, along the right-hand side, let's say we're looking at Carmel, you can start typing in your school name and see all of your matches by filtering that way as well. Once you find your match, you can click on the View button, and it will show you your match page, where you can see who you're playing, the home and away team. There's a chat feature on the bottom. This is what you will be using to communicate with the opposing coach. Gone are the days of looking up contact info in Discord or a spreadsheet and trying to figure out how to contact the opposing coach. All you need to do is go to the match page and utilize the match chat function. Here is the Valorant one-pager as well. So again, this is where you can find some rules help, and this is where you'll enter results. So there are videos on how to do this as well on our YouTube, and we can be sure to help you with those sorts of things as well. But that is one way to find your schedule. Another way to find your schedule is if you go to your individual school. The second tab is the schedule tab. Now, there are no matches now, but next week when the season starts, you will see matches pop up on this schedule page as they are populated for club as well. So this can be a one-stop shop for you finding all of your match information. Setting up matches follows the rule documents. It varies a little bit game by game. In general, the home team is the one creating the lobby, but all that information should be in your one-page documents or in the rule summaries here on LeagueOS, where it tells you exactly what settings to use, individual player settings, whatever is necessary for playing the game will be in these one-page rule summaries and on LeagueOS. Reminder that the expectation is that you are all actively supervising your students as they are playing. That means that you are in verbal communication with them. The ideal, again, of Indiana Esports Network, our value is that in-person competition with a coach in the room is the goal. Having direct interaction with students is really what separates us from just students playing in their basement. We realize that that can't happen at every school right away. It takes some time and some resources to build those in-person spaces, which is why we allow play from home while a lab is being constructed. Either way, you need to be in direct contact with your students via a Discord call, a Google Voice call, whatever platform you want to use, that you are communicating directly with them verbally. Also, you need to make sure you're engaging with the opposing coach via the LeagueOS chat. Reporting scores. At least one team needs to make sure that they report scores. The other team can verify them to ensure that they are correct, but that is how standings are calculated. So make sure you understand how to report scores. I see Carlos linked the YouTube channel as well. There is a video there for reporting scores also. If there are problems during the match, there are a few ways you can handle that. The first being on your match page, you can hit this little dispute button. And this will tag it as a disputed match and will notify us that we can go back and circle around. If it's something where it's a question or a quick dispute, also feel free to message us and let us know. We can probably resolve that pretty quickly. If your game has a game manager, reach out to them first, post in the Discord channel, whatever you need, let us know. We can see these match chats, we can jump in and try to resolve any disputes as they happen as well. If there are rule disputes, kind of the same process. If it's serious enough to stop the match, go ahead and do so and let us know so that we can make sure that everyone's on the same page. We try to make sure the rules documents are sufficient, but we could have missed things. If a situation arises, let us know and we will resolve them as soon as we can. We are almost done and I'm trying to stick to my word. The last thing we need to talk about is kind of some future of IEN sorts of things. I clicked on the wrong thing because that's fun. There are a few things that we want to discuss in the future. We talked about reinventing the competition council. More info on that to come later on what exactly that will look like. But if you're interested in helping us reinvent that, sharing ideas, please do so. If you're interested in potentially being involved next year, let us know that as well. We're looking to build a body that is separate from the board of directors, but still meaningful in terms of helping adjudicate decisions, making sure that we're above the board in terms of the competitive integrity of our league. Two, one of the things we're doing is evaluating the viability of Academy. In fall, Academy was not very healthy in a lot of game titles. We're going to see how many teams register for spring. We will offer Academy in spring regardless, but we may not offer High School Academy next school year. We're going to have to evaluate whether or not it's a viable option and the health of those divisions. We may eliminate Academy and go to a simple varsity and club structure, like what middle school is doing. We'll just, again, have to see how that works. We realize some of you really like those pre-scheduled matches for both of your teams that you have. We just want to make sure that it's a meaningful experience for teams that are competing in those divisions. We won't decide until we evaluate the health after this school year. The last one is cost of membership. IEN has been free for a long time, and a part of IEN will always be free at least as long as I am involved. That being said, the board of directors have spent our own personal money at a couple times making sure that, quote, the lights stay on. We want to be a financially sustainable organization. In our ideal situation, that would come from sponsorships, from private companies, from grants, and all of those sorts of things. It doesn't always happen, but we need to make sure that IEN remains sustainable. Our solution to that is instituting a membership fee for varsity programs only. So if you want to compete for free, we will still offer clubs to do that all the time. Again, as long as I'm involved, that's a tenet of what we want to do. That being said, if you want to have a varsity team, what we're going to institute is a fee of $100 for your school for the entire year. So regardless of how many teams you have, regardless of how many students you have, if you are competing at the varsity level, your school will be charged a fee of $100 to compete for the entire year. We're hoping that that's a manageable fee for your school to be able to contribute without passing it on to students, but also a way for us to remain sustainable in terms of the website, in terms of trophies, in terms of venues for finals, and all these sorts of things that we need to do. That fee is for middle school and high school. Nick, remind me what we talked about middle school if you need to unmute because I'm drawing a blank.
Yep, it's going to be $100 for middle school for the entire year. So you get both seasons for $100.
There we go. Again, we realize this is a change. It's something that we've talked about a lot. To be completely frank with you, I don't think any of us really want to do this. I think we would ideally not, but it's the state of where we find ourselves. This is starting next school year for the 24-25 school year. Nope, just $100 for your school for the whole year. Yep. Even though middle school has 2 separate seasons, it will still just be $100 for that whole year.
Blair, I don't think so. That's something that we will talk with Tori about.
Yes. So that is my agenda. If there are questions, Chris, Nick, Carlos, Dylan, Trevor, there's all these board members I got to list now. Questions for the good of everyone, we can go ahead and answer now, if there are any.
There are quite a few. You talked about it, but it was asked a lot, so you may want to reiterate. People are asking if we haven't had a chance to meet or we haven't been able to hold our tryouts, they're not going to be able to complete their rosters by the due date Friday. Is it okay as long as if they register their team and their rosters are not finalized?
Correct. Yes, as long as you register your team for the competition, you will be good to go. You can finalize the roster by adding students or removing students as necessary. Again, ideally before that first match. At the varsity level, that's a requirement. At others, we'll stretch it a little bit for you.
And then going along with that, it was asked for club teams, is it okay for club rosters to be fluid throughout the season?
It is okay for all rosters to be fluid. What we're just avoiding is a student playing on multiple rosters at the same time. And we're trying to avoid like a varsity player playing club. So right, if you have a player who started varsity and then all of a sudden they're going down to club, you're probably going to want them to stay down at club and stop jockeying back and forth. All these rules and guidelines are explained in the general rules. So if you want to look specifically at roster requirements, those are spelled out there. And if you have further questions, we can answer them.
Okay, we had a couple questions about teams for Fortnite. Is one team okay, or how many teams should they create for Fortnite?
You should create one team, one roster for Fortnite and dump all of your kids in it. Yes, and then whichever 3 are playing that, or 3 or whatever the number is for middle school, depends. Just have them be the ones that type in the lobby code and join the lobby in the Fortnite client. You don't need to worry about doing anything on LeagueOS about marking them playing or not. Just make sure you are the lead of your school, that only the number of students from your school are joining that are supposed to. If we run into problems with that, then we'll have to be more strict about you as an individual school, and we might not allow you to participate if you're like, well, I'm just going to have 12 kids join. That's going to ruin the experience for everyone. So please abide by those numbers so that we can make sure all schools have equal representation.
Going along with that, one common thing last fall was having kids being part of no build and then switching out and having kids in build. Are we allowed to have people switch back and forth or just stay with the 3 through the build and no build process?
Yeah, so each lobby is completely independent of each other. So we'll use the high school number. It's probably going to be 3 and maybe 4. You can have 3 players play the build lobby and 3 different players, the 3 same players, or any combination of play in the next lobby. And those are week-to-week decisions as well. So if you end up with 36 kids that want to play Fortnite for you, great. You can just go through the list, and you three get to play this lobby this week, you three the next week. Whatever that looks like for you is fine. Other things for the good of everyone from the questions that have been asked.
Hey, did I hear it right? There's no playoffs for middle school Fortnite?
There's no playoffs for any tournament title. So that includes Fortnite, correct.
Copy, thank you.
But we do crown champion. But then also the question was about the middle school number. Once we have the total number of teams registered, we will figure out what that number is because we're limited at 99. So we'll take that number divided by the number of teams we have, and then that's going to be the per school number.
And that will fluctuate week to week possibly as well, right? So we'll set it for week 1, and then if the lobby only has 80 people in it, then we'll readjust and look at what that can mean. So we will make sure that information is posted on Discord and LeagueOS each week so you know how many can play in each lobby. Okay. We're over what I would have liked. Sorry, I apologize. But hopefully this was meaningful. If you have questions, continue to drop them in chat. We're not going to end the meeting by any means, but I am going to end the recording so that those watching can, on the recorded Edpuzzle, don't have to sit through all of us answering questions. But feel free to reach out with whatever you need. If you would like to depart the meeting, you are free to do so now. Make sure you signed in on the agenda before you leave. We'll link that one more time. And that will qualify your attendance for this mandatory meeting. We will stick around for as long as you all have questions. We'll go through some of the other questions that were asked in chat that might not have applied, strictly speaking, to everyone. But there you go. Hopefully this was useful. Remember the registration deadline, 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Friday. We will get schedules out to you as soon as possible on Saturday so you know what is going on. And matches start next Monday for the 2024 spring split of Indiana Esports Network. Thank you all for being here, for making IEN what it is, and let us know how we can help and support you.